I'm just thinking about this city, this country. You see so many beautiful things. It kind of makes you like, it kind of makes you don't even want to leave, you know? Bro, I love it, bro. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I love the love in Africa, bro. The energy here is crazy. Energy and love, bro. It's scale, bro. I really do love the love it. I really do love the love and energy here, bro.
The way I Show Speed was celebrated in Africa, in his Africa tour, was so incredible that you could see at the end of it, after the new year, before he said green apple, you could see he was truly, truly happy, truly fulfilled. I think this brought it all home for him and his success. The way the people cheered and loved and showed their support of him, no matter what. It is incredible to see how the African continent is one of the most loving places on the planet, despite all the struggles that they've been through. And he even did a backflip into 2026. This has to be one of, if not the best IRL stream ever. And it really goes to show you that no matter what, your roots will always bring you home. They will always welcome you. They will always love you more than anyone. And I think this is something Speed will never forget. I can see this was the fulfillment of a lifelong dream. And he truly feels at home. He truly feels blessed to be able to do that. And
So US citizens are now deciding to move to Africa because of Speed's new stream. Well, as you know, when Speed went to China, he basically exposed that American propaganda has made China seem that it's just like some communist, like you can't even survive. But in actuality, it was the most beautiful cities people have ever seen. US citizens were like, wait, what the heck? Y'all's taxes are low. Everything you buy is like extremely cheap. It's affordable. Families are healthy. Everything is perfect. They're like, wait a second, we're literally being propagated in the US. Now Speed is going to Africa and people are saying he's going to do the same thing. What do y'all think? Wallahi, he will undo years of propaganda that Africa is a bad place to be. And yeah, in my current American brain, when I think of Africa, I think of no water, huts, sands. Like, dude, it's actually funny. I don't know, like, it's just all the propaganda from just being in America. What do y'all think about this? This is getting millions of views. Do you think this is actually gonna happen the same way it did with this China stream? I'm actually kind of curious. Let me know what y'all think.
Yo, so I'm kind of confused. Like, I Show Speed is in Africa, and like, how? Like, they have Wi-Fi. I never knew that. And like, they have cars, houses. That shit's crazy. I never.
If you watch Speed go to Africa and your biggest takeaway was that, oh my god, it's not just huts and mud, that's not awareness, buddy. That is straight ignorance. That image of Africa, it didn't come from nowhere. It came from what you were taught, what you never questioned, and what you were always comfortable believing.
You had to watch I Show Speed go to Africa before you finally realized Africa is more than just poverty, dirt, and huts. Then, congratulations. You're just now catching up. Because Africa has always been more than the stereotypes people were taught to believe. So Speed just launched this huge project called Speed Goes to Africa. It's a 28-day tour across 20 African countries, where he's live streaming modern cities.
Why am I seeing grown people crying on my For You page because they've just learned that Africa has buildings? Are you serious? I'm so sorry, but if you thought that Africa was all mud huts and lions in the year 2026, that is willful ignorance on your part, and I cannot defend you, sorry. Speed is doing like a tour of Africa or something like that, and the amount of people I've seen on my For You page shocked that Africa is a civilized continent. Continent, by the way, not country. Africa is a continent with 54 countries. It's the most genetically diverse continent in the entire world. And you thought not one of those 54 countries had skyscrapers. They didn't have cars. They were living in mud huts in all 54 of those countries. It's 2026, and you thought that? And you're crying? I understand. The West is a propaganda machine. They have fed us so many lies about Africa. We've all seen the adverts of the malnourished kids covered in flies and the women carrying water back to their villages. And yes, that is a reality for some Africans. But we've had the internet for 30 years now, and you never Googled it. You never thought to do your own research, not once. Okay. I see people from Africa all the time on this app trying to educate people that Africa is not all people living in mud huts in villages. They have cities, they have skyscrapers, they have cars, they have roads, they have everything. But people just aren't taking to it. How are you crying? How are you crying because you're finding out through Speed that Africa has buildings? Are you serious? If you made it to 2026 thinking that the entirety of Africa is still living in the Stone Age, that's not just because you fell for propaganda, it's because you didn't care enough to do your own research.
So, let me tell you something. Speed's Africa streams, they hit differently, fam. Way better than his streams anywhere else, especially in Europe. I'm noticing it. And I gotta ask, are you noticing too? Because it's all love over there. The vibes, pure good energy, no drama, no crazy names being yelled at him. Just people vibing, doing his catchphrases, embarking with him like it's a whole movement. And hold up, he even met the president of Angola. You know, he's out here living, doing races, and it's all good times. Honestly, this is the energy we need everywhere. But here's the thing. Why are the people in Africa treating Speed so much better than in some other places? Especially Eastern Europe, where it's not always the same vibe. Could it be that people have been misrepresenting Africa for years? Maybe they don't really know the place. I'm just saying, I'm noticing a difference. Africa's showing up, and it's a whole nother level of love and respect. That's what's up.
Yo! So if you haven't been paying attention, iShowSpeed has been met with overwhelming love in South Africa. People have been making so many pieces of art to welcome Speed to their country. My mom is kinda homeless. Here's the crazy thing about this. The man in the gray shirt, he is the artist. It took him 2 hours to make this. He found the fly, bro. Look, he even goes on to replicate the face on a hardwood. Look at the attention to detail. How did they even do this? This might be the most love that he's got out of any country, bro. And he gets love everywhere he goes. The only place where he had issues was in Europe. This person etched Speed's face into a piece of glass. It took him 2 to 3 days of total time to do this. And that is the tool that he used. Speed's tours are no longer just him going and visiting places. It's an attempt for these countries that normally don't get the love that they deserve to be seen on a global scale. He has single-handedly destroyed decades of propaganda about Africa. A lot of people thought that Africa in general was just a bunch of straw villages and people were hunting with spears, when in reality they have modern cities and a very robust culture. This tour has been extremely eye-opening, bro. Other than that though, let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm curious. Yo! So if you haven't been paying attention, iShowSpeed is the first streamer in history to reach 40 million plus followers on every major social media platform, excluding Twitter. It's not X, it's Twitter, bro. So he's got 45 mil on YouTube, 42 mil on IG, 43 mil on TikTok. He even post on the TikTok. He just started really posting on it. Oh, hold on. You thought we were done, by the way? Speed has officially surpassed Mr. Beast as the most searched creator on Google. The reason why iShowSpeed is so massive as a creator, a juggernaut, is because he has global appeal. He is known all across the world. Do you know how long it's going to be before we see a creator that's even able to replicate this to a certain degree? The reason why Speed has all this appeal internationally is because of his personality, bro. He goes to all these countries, he shows all this love to all these different cultures, bro, and they show him love back. And the crazy part about it, he not even 21 years old yet. Other than that though, let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm curious.
So iShowSpeed is single-handedly causing millions of Americans to move to Africa after his latest streams. But guys, it gets so crazy, so watch. So randomly, Speed's Twitter account being suspended while he's showcasing Africa on every single post is very suspicious. They don't want you to even hide it anymore. It's because a lot of Americans believe that Africa was like completely run down and they're seeing the opposite on Speed streams. But watch, it gets even crazier. The U.S. Embassy welcomes the U.S. digital creator iShowSpeed to Zimbabwe. It's not a victim mentality. We love our home and we want people to see it for the beauty it is. Here's the account I was referencing. It's the one tagged by the official U.S. Embassy. He's ruining the propaganda. Of course, this would happen. But guys, even with China, he showed how advanced China was. And I'm not joking, millions of Americans think differently about China after his streams, which is crazy. Guys, genuinely, let me know your opinion in the comments. This is going very viral and it's very suspicious.